So, my name is Brandon, according to my birth certificate and marriage license. And I was used as a puppet. I was sexually abused. People had me saying stuff and doing stuff that I did not want to do. I did not know what was going on. I was told to do a timeline, a verbal, mental timeline about what happened. So, I had these scars on my body and was abused and molested ever since I was molested when I was like 5 years old. And it seemed like people kept doing it, saying it was my cousin or my family and stuff and using different names and identities. It's like they even did it while I was married and stuff. It's just nasty, just nasty. And before April 2004, I don't know if it was on April 30th, 2004, after April 30th, 2004, they said different people had sex with people with the name April Williams. Some people said the children mine, some people said the children not mine. All this confusion and stuff like that. When I went to that house at 2715 Avenue E. Ensley in Birmingham, Alabama, and when I went to that school, Ensley High School in Birmingham, Alabama, I already had these injuries and scars, on my leg, on my butt, and all that stuff already there. I guess it makes somebody feel real big and real bad to beat up and abuse and molest and use a person that was already abused when I got there. Whoever the girls was or the guys was or the people was at that school and at that house or in that neighborhood, I don't understand why they would want to abuse a person that was already abused, When I got there, they said I was in a car accident when I was 12 years old and like all of the bones and stuff on my left side of my body was broke. They said something about contusions to his lungs and a concussion, and my arm had already been broke on the left side before and my leg was all messed up and stuff like that. But they wanted to beat me up or something like that. They wanted to call me ugly and stuff like that. They wanted to say that since I was the youngest one in the family, my thing was too little, or I wasn't grown, or I wasn't part of the group or the gang or whatever it is that they do. It's crazy. But anyway, like I said, I met a girl. I don't know if it was a scam or what was going on. I had this house on Avenue F. I was paying the rent, They said she was 16. I don't know who her mom or who her daddy really is after all of these identity. All these years later, man, over 20 years later, I was 18, 38 years old today. But it said know yourself. Is that they told me that I did what I was supposed to do, as a boyfriend, husband, dad, as a person. It's like I took the girl to school every day, I don't know if it was the same girl when she came out of school or when I came back or not, if she had a twin, because when people look alike, it's kind of hard to tell which one is which, I don't know if they stopped the other girl or something like that or whatever, like they told me that nobody was supposed to be sexually abused, that there is no sexual abuse. They told me no sexual abuse. You're not supposed to sexually abuse people, So they was like, you don't have to worry about somebody saying you're not a real man or you're not a real dad because you can't protect your wife from being sexually abused because you're just a person in a wheelchair. People told me that you're not supposed to protect your wife from being sexually abused because there's not supposed to be any sexual abuse. And since I never sexually abused anyone, I'm not part of the problem. You know, they said when you're married and you got a marriage license, it's not my fault if somebody pretended to be my wife and she was not my wife. They said it's no such thing as sexually abusing your wife. They said the only way you can be guilty of sexually abusing your wife is if you tried to prostitute your wife and if you told her to have sex with other people and stuff like that. Since I never prostituted my wife and I never told her to have sex with other people and I never tried to sell my wife's sex, you know, it was like if any of those people that said they were April Williams were not your wife, whatever they call themselves, whatever name they use, it doesn't matter as far as sexual abuse because I did not sexually abuse anyone. No matter what kind of videos I made or what kind of music I made, I never actually sold any of that stuff. It was never for sale. I never made a video for sale with pictures of girls naked or in their panties or any of that stuff. It was never for sale. Any kind of videos that I ever made or stuff like that, you know, with a girl using the name April Williams, you know, it's the only girl that I was with, a girl using the name April Williams. So if it was different people, then I don't know why they would do that. I don't even know how they would do that, you know. But somebody did something like that. It was like, you know, the timeline. It was like, okay. So when I was at Avenue F, was paying the rent, you know, 18 years old. It was like, a lot of guys didn't do that. They said the girl was 16 years old, take her to school every day. She said people was her sister, her cousin, her family members or whatever. I took them to school and places and stuff like that too. I wasn't ever trying to have sex with them and put them in videos. I didn't make them wear my t-shirts. I didn't make them sing any of my songs. I didn't make them do any of that stuff. I never had a group or a gang. I never initiated a bunch of people into a group or a gang. I don't even have a group or a gang to initiate anyone in, you know. It's crazy, you know. So, you know, it was like I was on Avenue F. I moved from there to a house on Avenue A, you know. People was abusing us. It was like, you know, the house that I grew up in, I was being molested and abused. So I left from there, moved into a room in the house. The people said they was watching us naked in the shower. I moved from there because, you know, I never told them to watch me naked in the shower. So since they was being perverts, I moved from there to a house on Avenue I, because the house I was in was on Avenue F when they said they was watching us in the shower. I moved to Avenue I. They was walking around naked in their house. So since they was being perverts, I moved from there to a house in East Thomas, the Foresthill area. When I was there, you know, it's crazy. You know, they say it's like being bipolar. You have a marriage license, so you feel like you're married. But when you realize it's just me in a room by myself and the girl was hardly never there and she was always with other people, it feels like you're not married and it feels like you're not in a relationship. How you supposed to feel married when the girl is always somewhere else doing something else or whatever? And then people telling you she's doing someone else and having sex with other people, bringing children back home that I never asked to have, you know? It was like, I didn't do any of that. I didn't go out and when I came back said, oh, this your baby or whatever. I brought it from the hospital, you know? And it's crazy, you know, because it was like, they tried to change me. I said that I was the type of guy that wanted a girlfriend. And, you know, I was going to love her and be with her and, you know, stuff like that. And it was like her family or those people that said it was your family, whether it was the Johnson people or the Williams people or the people that was connected to them, said they wanted grandchildren and they wanted more children. And next thing you know, they saying it's 3 children. You know, 20 years later, they saying it's 3 children. But they're like, that was never my plan. So when the family said that they planned it, it's like they have to tell the truth. They know none of this stuff wasn't my plan. So it was like one of those girls or some of those girls that used the name April Williams decided that they wanted to do what the family said do, and they didn't give a damn about me, you know. Because it was like your wife would be telling you that and be telling everyone else that Brandon never wanted to have all of them children and have a family. He said after he saw the first child being born that he didn't want to have any more children, and it's unfair to him to try to make it look like he did something wrong when he didn't even want to do any of that stuff, you know. I told you I was used as a puppet and stuff like that for stuff that I didn't want to do. So now I was up in the Cane Creek Apartments in Warrior, Alabama, 402 May Circle Apartment 402. It's like I was there by myself most of the time. Girl was always gone at somebody else's job. I told her not to work or whatever. I'm not sure if it was my wife or not, or if I was just being molested the whole time because She was never really there with me if she was always at somebody's job, and they said it was a choice. They would call and say, do you want to come in to work today, or do you want to stay at home with Brandon? She was like, she'd rather go to work than stay there with me. It's crazy. I moved to Birmingham. The child almost died. I don't know if they wanted the child to die or not, you know. I took the child to the hospital so that the child would not die, and I told DHR about it and went to the court dates. I moved from that apartment, you know, because some of the people said it might have been the lead paint in the apartment or whatever. And I got a house in Eastlake, you know. When I got the house in Eastlake, you know, I was in the courtroom. You can't take her children. It's not her fault, blah, 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 this, all of it. You know, I went to jail for contempt of court, you know. I was in there for a good little while, you know. It was bad when I was there, you know. So when I got to jail, they was like, somebody stole your Social Security shit. The money just went in, you know. It's crazy, you know. Always the same story. I get locked up. They steal my money. The girl don't know me. Run out the door. Said she with her family. Stuff like that. I guess she wanted to be a family girl or whatever. And I wanted to be married. I don't know. So, you know, this video is for my wife. I don't know, and I'm not sure what kind of game they played. But if that was not you, if you was not those people that was doing it, and they was just abusing me and molesting me, and they used me, you know, this is what they did, you know. Well, they did this stuff, you know. And they was stealing my money and getting me locked up all of the time. I kept going to jail, you know. And I didn't even have any victims. It's like a family abused me, you know. They said that they cousins and relatives and stuff like that, you know. They even tried to get me to kill the lady named Yolanda. And I said, no, I don't want to do that. I went to a church, you know. Instead of going to kill Yolanda, I was at this apartment. It was in the Avondale area of North Birmingham on 47th Street. A girl ran out the door naked, and she was saying Gerald is her baby and stuff like that. And she was saying she liked this dude named Toot or something like that. And I didn't try to stop her, because if she wanted to run to him or run to somebody else, you know, well, they said run to the arms of the one who loves you and stuff like that. So I guess she loved him or something like that. I don't know which one is which or whatever, but I think it's wrong the way the children was abused. And I don't even understand, like, where they come from, why they would do these stuff to them like that. Because I never even gave any of the children a whipping. And, you know, they say when I was born, the lady who said she was the mom was 30 years old, and she gave me drugs and stuff like that. I'm 38 years old today, and from the time I was 30 years old, first of all, I never gave the children a whipping. But if the clock starts at the age of 30, you know, judging a person's behavior, ever since I was 30 years old, I never gave any children prescription drugs, pills, mind-altering drugs, you know. When I was a child, I might have been under the influence when I was younger that maybe you're supposed to put pills and drugs and chemicals and stuff like that in stuff. But once I became the age 30, you know, like they said the person was 30 years old on my birth certificate. I don't know what her excuse is for being in her 30s and giving children drugs and mind-altering drugs, because since I've been age 30, I would never give children mind-altering drugs and stuff like that. I mean, look how messed up my head is and all these bruises and stuff like that and how confused I am. It's crazy, you know. So, you know, when I left that house at 816G, you know, not there. I mean, I think it was 47th Street. It might have been 821 47th Street North in the Avondale area, you know. I went to an apartment at 6th Street North, you know, and I moved in, you know, and I was going to court helping the mom with the children, you know. I ain't really sure about the identity, but I went to all those court dates, you know. It's like, when I was there, you know, a girl kept telling me, get out, go to the club, go anywhere, do anything, you know. Like, it's like she needed me to leave so she could do something behind my back or whatever. I'm not even really sure, you know, or why they would do that. And then she would be telling me that she liked Willie and she liked Chucky and stuff like that. The dude that said he was their granddad, you know. And it's crazy because, you know, like, I got locked up again because the children said that Trinity had got molested or that Willie had touched her inappropriately. And I went over to the house, and, you know, since I'm the non-violent type, I didn't want to extra hurt a person. So, you know, I had this black Jeep and I backed it into the car. He had a Cadillac car, and I damaged the car. I went to court and I pled guilty, you know, for damaging the car. I never touched the person, you know, and I went to jail. I'm like, I'm tired of going to jail for them children. If it ain't yelling for custody in the courtroom and getting locked up for contempt of court, or bashing into a Cadillac car with a Jeep and then getting locked up for them, I'm like, I already got locked up for them children. I got locked up for them children. I got locked up for their mom. And what do I got to show for it? Where is my wife? Where is my girlfriend? You know, I'm not the bad guy. I tried to defend them, and it was like, see what happened when you tried to defend them children? And you made all them videos. And they were like, you know, some people say they set me up, you know. And when I moved from there, you know, that apartment at 1609 6th Street North, you know, the girl that they said was Trinity, you know, I'm not sure if it was her or not, if they stole her identity, but somebody said it was Trinity, and she was like, you hit my granddaddy car. That's what you get. You going to jail. She was very mean to me. So, you know, she said she liked Willie Johnson, so I guess it was her mom. Her mom said she liked Willie Johnson, and she said she liked Willie Johnson, and I don't understand, you know, because